So it looks like Scott Shaffer went ahead and decided to make himself another Caleb Hammer video, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. The last three videos have all been, well, in my personal opinion, complete and utter dog shit. They were filled with just fill in the blanks, no real evidence. I mean, don't get me wrong, when it came to the chats and everything like that, it doesn't look good. Definitely isn't something that I personally would turn around and do, nor is it something that I would personally turn around and defend. However, I do stand by my saying that, you know what, it looks like it could be primarily jokes. Anyways, we're going to get into this one because apparently Scott Shaffer ended up interviewing somebody that was on Caleb Hammer's show, and this person is supposedly suing Caleb Hammer. Now, one thing I do know is that Scott ended up renaming this video here, at least from what I saw, from something along the lines of like, Caleb Hammer is getting sued to Caleb Hammer ruined his life. Now, I'm not a fan of Caleb Hammer. I don't watch him or anything like that. If anything, all of these Scott Shaffer videos have actually turned me into liking Caleb, or at least like Scott Shaffer's coverage of Caleb has been so bad that it's become like difficult to not defend Caleb. Oh man, but let's go ahead and get into this and see exactly what it is this time that Scott is trying to get us to believe about Caleb.
So I've done several videos covering Caleb Hammer's off-screen antics, but one thing I wanted to do was actually talk to someone who has appeared on the show and tell their side of the story, and I actually got to do that in this interview with Brent Davies, who has appeared on Caleb Hammer's show 3 times, and in the recent episode that he did, he said he's going to be suing Caleb Hammer for defamation. So we talk about his impending lawsuit against Caleb Hammer. We go over all of his 3 appearances on the show and how he feels he was defamed multiple times. And what's really interesting, we actually uncovered something in this interview. If it proves to be true, it's going to put Caleb Hammer in some very hot water legally. So definitely check out this interview. All right. So
okay, first and foremost, I mean, if it is true, I can't. I see. This is one of those things that Scott does that I'm kind of just like, because obviously, if someone did something bad, then it'll land them in hot water no matter what. But you're telling me that you don't even have evidence of what this guy is accusing Caleb of? Because if he had evidence, he wouldn't say if it's true. He would just simply say that it's going to land him in hot water. So it's already not boding well, at least not in my opinion.
So I'm here with Brent. It's Brint, right?
Correct.
I noticed on your first video, I did research for this, and the first video with Caleb, he kept calling you Brent with an E. He can't do basic research on his guest.
What? Who cares if he got the name wrong? Are you serious? Hey, what's up, Billy Joe Twerk?
No, he's not good at a lot of research.
I'm Brent Davey. I'm 41. I'm based out of Austin, and this is...
So, okay, so we got something wrong. This is, oh my God, this is the same thing of like, well, it wasn't 10 years ago, it was 7 years ago. You can't do basic math.
Financial audit.
Yeah. All right, so for someone who maybe hasn't seen your videos or maybe haven't seen you in a while, why don't you go ahead and explain who you are and how you know Caleb a little bit?
Okay, well, I'm Brent Davey. I've been a recurring guest on Financial Audit for nearly 3 years now, and it all started...
Wait, hold on. We have he's a recurring guest who has a lawsuit against him? Oh, geez. Okay. Oh, this is already not looking good.
In early 2023, I responded to a
Appreciate it, Billy.
Paid sponsored post on Facebook for a paid acting gig.
Okay, so did you know him before that, or is it just something you found online?
No, it was just, in the feed as a sponsored post, but I went ahead and filled it out without even knowing what the show was.
Did it mention, do you remember how much you were supposed to be paid for that?
Wait. Didn't this dude just give him shit for not being able to do research? And now here he is saying that he filled out an application for a show without knowing anything about the show? Like, the petty, like, I know it's petty to like harp on that, but the reason I am is because they just laughed at Scott, or they just laughed at freaking Caleb for not getting this dude's name right and making fun of him, saying he can't do basic fucking research. Yet this dude literally just filed out a like an informational packet or whatever the fuck to appear on a show that he has no clue about and did no research for. See, it just keeps, like, every single video just keeps coming off like a petty vendetta.
Yeah, I was paid $50 for that one.
$50, that's it. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that was really early. I think he only had like 250,000 subscribers the first time you were on the show. This was before his show blew up.
It was. Nobody really knew who he was. I looked through a couple of episodes.
200,000 is nothing to sneeze at. I wouldn't really say nobody knew who he was. And we keep harping on this whole money thing. I'm going to be honest. There's so many people who've come on for interviews on so many different channels and so many different things, and almost nobody ever gets paid for it. Like, as much as you might hate Keem or something, I 100% agree with him when I say, like, when he says that he's not going to pay anybody for an interview. You honestly don't have to. If that person, it's a mutual net benefit most of the time. Whenever someone comes on for an interview, they get their name out there and you get your name out there. Like, you're co-mingling of the two communities.
Episodes. I approached it like an acting gig, and I mean, I was kind of in financial trouble. That is the real part of it. But like all reality television, you do play up the drama for the camera. Otherwise, it would just be somebody going, "Oh, I'm poor," right? Like you can't fill an hour of compelling television. Otherwise,
when the first episode went live, do you feel like you were portrayed fairly, or do you think it was edited in a way to make yourself look worse than you thought you were being presented?
that is a great question. I was really excited as we wrapped. It was me, his videographer, and Caleb all in this apartment. And
all right, I'm speeding this up. These dudes talk way too freaking slow for me. Way too freaking slow.
We felt the energy, like we knew we had gold. And I wrapped really happy. I was like, this is cool. Yeah, keep me in touch. Let me know how it goes. They said, oh, you'll know. So the episode drops, and I see how he's built it. I see the pacifier in my mouth. I see.
Did you get to help? Did you get to help pick that thumbnail, or was that completely him?
No, that was all him. And the headline on the video itself was "Man refuses to get a job," which was not even okay. Even though I am playing a caricature of myself, that was not in the script. That was not in the content.
Okay, hold on. So you're an actor by trade, it sounds like, and you're turning around and upset at the fact that you're being portrayed poorly in an acting gig that you're at least saying you approached it as an acting gig. So if that's the case, why exactly are you so upset? You knew you were playing the role of like an uppity person, or you knew you were playing this role that wasn't going to be shown in the best of light. So you knew you were most likely going to get flack for it. Is it the simple fact that you just didn't anticipate the level of like flack you were going to get from people? And this is kind of an issue that I'm having right now. If you're an actor and you approached it as an acting gig and you're playing it up, what part of you is real then? Like, is this the real Brent? Was that the real Brent? Is like your own content the real Brent? It's a little difficult to turn around and decipher, because, I mean, if you're saying you were acting then, but you're not acting now, well, how is anyone going to actually know that?
I said I would get a job beneath what I'm expecting that I'm able to do. And I even in that episode agreed to drive for Uber Eats. I said, okay, I'll try it. That might work. In the episode, he has his guest saying, yeah, I'll drive Uber Eats. Then he headlines it in title, "Man refuses to get job."
Yeah.
That's the first time he defamed me right there.
So did
whoa. No, wait, what? That's the first time he defamed you? There's no way that constitutes as defamation. There's no freaking way. Wait, hold on. Okay, everyone's going to put up catchy titles, catchy thumbnails, because without a click, you don't get anything, right? If nobody clicks on your video, then you're not going to get a view, you're not going to get a like or a dislike or a comment, whatever the fuck. But I highly doubt that simply putting in the title as this 41-year-old refuses to get a job in some way, shape, or form is defamation. Like, what is it about YouTube and people who get on YouTube that don't actually know what defamation is? Defamation is, in layman's terms, defamation is when somebody says something about you that's so outside of your character. For instance, if somebody was to turn around and call like Keanu Reeves a racist, which I would say 99% of the world believes Keanu Reeves to be one of the most genuine people there is, that would be considered defamation. However, if somebody like Alex Jones was accused of being a racist, that would be a little bit harder to prove defamation.
Did that piss you off when you saw that go live?
Absolutely, absolutely. I emailed him. I was like, "This is bad. This is bad. Take it down. Edit it." I was like, and he wouldn't.
What did he say back to you?
He just said, "Don't worry about the content. Don't worry about the blowback."
See, because nowadays he makes the claim like,
Well,
oh yeah, the guests are
well,
all
I
on
hope
board.
we
They
have
love
those
the titles, they love the
emails.
thumbnails. We go through it all with them, and if they don't like it, we'll take it down. So you're saying you did not like that. You wanted it down, and he did not.
Also, interesting point. As a condition, verbally, before we set out, I asked him, "Oh, can I see it before you drop it?" He gave me final cut in a verbal agreement before we even shot that first episode, and then he refused to edit it at my request as I was getting slammed, and because he characterized me as basically a low life.
Or explain Johnny versus Amber. Yeah, that is a very good legal case for defamation there, Johnny versus Amber. Or I guess I should say a representation of it.
Leech on society.
I will say, if Caleb did say that this guy could have like the final say on how this is put together and then like didn't give him the final say, that is definitely fucked up. Now, the dude is saying that this is from a verbal agreement, not a written one. So that's going to be a little difficult to prove. But he said that they had emails of him wanting Caleb to change things and Caleb turning around and denying it. So, I mean, oh, okay, fine. Like, if that's the case, slightly fucked up. But at the end of the day, Caleb doesn't have to go by what the dude wants. It's still his channel. Hopefully, though, we get to see those damn emails.
I know we're gonna get to you later. You do want to sue him, but do you have like because you said you emailed him, you wanted it taken down. Do you have like the email of that of him saying he's not going to change it?
Oh, I don't believe so. He wouldn't.
All right. Talk about hopes being dashed right out the bag, bro. You don't have the emails. Oh, okay. What convoluted story do you have that explains why you don't have the emails?
Email me back. He did call me.
How did you hear back? Because you said you wanted
him to call me back that day.
They called you?
He said, yeah, and he was just, I got some scary. I remember what he said. He was like, I got some scary texts. I said, this is bullshit, really. And I said, the NDA that you had me sign is actually bullshit too. Like, there's no way that holds up. And it was just like something he downloaded from LegalZoom or something. It didn't reflect the nature of our of a production at all.
Yeah.
And so he called me and he said, I got some scary texts. And then he actually like kind of calmed me down. I said, well, it's just the comment. It's all going to blow over. So that calmed me down for a little while.
And then after the show, I've seen a few of your posts.
Okay, if Caleb is doing NDAs with people, the 9 out of 10 times an NDA covers the work product, the production of it, right? So that would fall under like how he produces it, how it's edited, how it's put together, the behind the scenes. It doesn't necessarily and almost never really covers talking about his experience on it or anything of that nature. Now, obviously, I've never seen the NDA, if there even is one, but a lot of the time, NDAs do not like pertain to what goes on in the workplace as far as like conversations and all that, unless that conversation, pertains to the product, the production, like the production of the product.
On Reddit, you said a lot of people were very mean to you. You had difficult getting jobs and people would say horrible things to you. You can go over some of the things that happened.
It has been,
okay, sure.
Hell. The last 3 years have been actual hell, psychological hell, like the damage that this scale of defamation does. People know me and I don't know them, and they have really bad ideas about me right off the bat.
Can you go into some specifics about particular times where that happened?
Yeah. One time I was getting an Airbnb, and it was a room for rent in an Airbnb. A little old lady, empty nester, has a few rooms in her house. Mm-hmm. And she had seen me apparently. When I got there, she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm too scared." and rather than try to argue with her, I was just like, wow, okay.
And that
You
was
know?
from seeing your appearance on Caleb Hammer?
Yes, I get. I mean, you see
Okay. Okay. I'm not going to say that this dude doesn't get recognized. Obviously, I don't have that data in front of me. But something tells me Caleb Hammer's audience isn't little old women. I could be wrong. I haven't seen his demographics. But you're seriously telling, okay, and this doesn't even make any sense. This doesn't make any sense because when you book an Airbnb, it's not like cash. You don't pay it in cash, you pay it on the website. So you already put the money forward. Like at least, I don't know, maybe in some states it's different, but every single freaking time I have ever done an Airbnb, I had to put a card on file and then I had to, and they took it out either right then and there, or you could do like payment plans or something of that nature. Now that obviously, that it accrues interest, but if you rented this Airbnb, that means that you already put the money down. You already spent that money. She wouldn't be able to refuse you. Wait, he needs to go into way more detail on this.
see the comments on these videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
The comments, they say, "Oh, that guy's just waiting for his parents to die." And inherit
Oh,
their money.
Jesus.
Really dark stuff. This guy is a psychopath. He's a liar. I mean, really, like I'm the scourge of the earth. Like I'm a leech on society, and I don't deserve to exist. And I get those kind of messages.
Well, I mean, if you don't have a job, you kind of are a leech on society. I'm just going to be honest.
Sometimes to my inbox, sometimes in comments on my own media on the internet.
Now, that's not to say that if you're out of a job currently or whatever it is, for whatever reason, that makes you a leech. What I am saying, though, is if you have a prolonged status of not having a job and you're not actively trying to get one and you're not actively trying to do something to better yourself or to become employed, then yeah, you 100% are a leech on fucking society.
In job interviews, even people ask me, and it's a really hard thing to overcome.
Kind of looking like a clout goblin. Yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, I think that Scott is way too freaking dumb and way too in the weeds to actually turn around and and to actually turn around and be able to visualize the fact that he is. Oh, thank you, Jess, for the the membership. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Try to explain, 3 years of hell and the complicated nature of a reality television show over a job interview.
I'm just curious, like if you could estimate, how many times do you think you've been recognized for being on the show?
Oh, after an episode drops, every day.
Every day.
Absolutely.
Come
In Austin,
on.
but I mean, it's also, I played the open mics.
Come on. I'm sorry. There's no fucking way this dude has been. I don't know, man. I find that incredibly difficult to believe that he has been recognized every single day since he was on there. Maybe if he's like in a small town or something, sure, but I find that incredibly difficult.
Around here and in South Austin in particular, I'm kind of noticed around, but every day, yeah, I'll be one time I was at Ross Dress for Less. I'm buying shoes. And there were these teenagers, and they were like, "You sure you can buy that, dude?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Not really. I don't know, but I do need shoes." I just
So let me get this straight. This dude goes on to Caleb Hammer because he's in like financial, devastation or whatever. And then he goes to Ross looking for shoes. And some kids come up to him because of the Caleb Hammer video, and they turn around and they say, like, ask him if he has the ability to buy them. I mean, yeah, like it makes sense. I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but it certainly makes sense. If I saw somebody like with Frogan, okay, Frogan comes out and she's crying and begging for like, money and stuff and rent money and whatnot. And then she ends up having like nails on her hands that are like over $100. People are going to question if she's able to afford that shit because she's crying about how she has no money. So if this dude went on to, Caleb Hammer's show and it is talking about how he doesn't have any money how he can't afford rent and bills and all of that, then yeah, people are going to question whether or not he can afford shoes. A little bass backwards.
Play along. You know, I'm chummy in real life. Sometimes somebody will come up and ask for a photo with me. Right first, you know, oh, are you Brent from the show? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, can we get a photo with you? And I'm like, actually, man, that's gonna be $10.
There's
And then
no
they're like,
way,
what?
dude.
They're taken aback. I'm like, no, I'm just messing with you. Get on in here, you
Okay.
know. And I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
The nice ones, anyway. Sometimes they are aggressive and taunting. I've been followed in my car. My car was in the first episode, the model of my vehicle. I've been followed while I'm driving Uber Eats. I've delivered
What?
food to people's doors.
Are you seriously trying to say that because of your like showing on Caleb Hammer, people followed you in your car? Are you really trying to say Caleb Hammer has such sycophantic fucking parasocial fans that if they saw you, they would follow you in your car? Look, I'm not sitting here saying Caleb is fucking, you know, God's favorite son or something, but I really, really doubt that he has fans that are that insane. Maybe he does, but I just don't see that being the case.
That I'm giving them food. And they said, oh, get a real job. It's you, get a real job.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Okay,
Like that
that is
level of resentment is,
that is kind of fucked up.
I'm not the psychotic one here, you know? It's disturbing. And it's just, you can't escape it. There's no escaping it ever.
Sure.
I want to, at this point, correct the record, establish that some of the emotion that I'm displaying is caricature and acting in reality television, and the rest is mostly defamation.
Well, let me ask you about if you had this really bad experience after the first show aired. A lot of people would ask, why did you decide to go back on the show?
Oh,
Exactly.
interesting. That's a great point. I at first said no. They've asked me twice to go back on before I went back onto the second episode I was in. The first time I was like, no, it is not worth it. The second time they asked, it was Noah Chrysler was the casting producer, and I was like, man, no way, no way. And I just rhetorically said, I'm not going back on unless it's a boxing match and I get to punch him in the face, you know? And I had pitched the boxing match idea earlier to the previous casting director before Noah, and it was not greenlit because the show was, I don't think they had that kind of budget. I still don't think they would spend that.
What do you mean they don't have that kind of budget? It's a financial audit show, not a fucking title card show. What? That has nothing. Something tells me Caleb most certainly has the budget to put on a fucking boxing match. It's not like it has to be in an arena or something, but it's a financial audit show. It's not freaking MMA backyard or something like that. It's not freaking garage boxing. It's a financial audit show. Why would he want to box you?
That kind of money on a single episode. But the only context in which I ever threatened Caleb was with consent in a boxing match. And this brings me to the next angle of defamation that Caleb went with in the second episode was that I had sent him death threats. And that is absolutely not
so you're
true.
claiming that they wanted you back for the second, and I watched the beginning of that episode, and Caleb, they had you at a secret location because they didn't trust you at their main filming location. But you say they wanted you back. Is that what happened?
Yes, they did want me back, and I negotiated pay of $4,000 for the appearance fee. And when I get there, I find that it is going to be framed as a gift to a homeless man and not my wage. And that's how they framed that episode.
Did you?
And you still went through with it because you needed the money. I'm sorry. I'm finding it a little difficult to be sympathetic here because if I'm in his situation, there's absolutely no way I'm going to go through with this. If I have my morals right, and I'm not I'm not cool with somebody showcasing it as such, where it's basically a handout to a homeless person, I'm sticking with my morals and I'm not doing the fucking episode.
Did you get the $4,000?
I did at the very end of the episode, but they did not frame it like I had earned it. They framed it like it was a pity. Like I believe that the angle they were going for was.
Did they tell you? Did they tell you beforehand, oh, we're going to present you as like this crazy person, we're going to go to a different location? Did they tell you all of that? It was like a bit or what?
No, I had no clue. I had no clue. And Noah Chrysler has really great soft skills. He said, man, you're going to be standing up for yourself. You're going to look better. It's going to improve your reputation.
So they framed it as redemption.
Exactly. That's how they. And I thought, okay, well, it's going to be a redemptive angle. I'm going to have a redemptive angle with his audience, which is the audience I need to make redemption with to get this harassment to stop, right? And I'm going to make money.
True.
So I went ahead and did it. I get to the location, which was actually a Fortnite game studio. They make like mods in Fortnite or something like that.
Interesting.
And I get there, and there's cameras rolling as I get out of the car. And I had agreed to 45 minutes of, film production time. And I started my clowner right then. I started my clock right then. I get patted down.
We're going in cold, open-minded. We have no idea what is going to come of this. Down here, bro. The man just arrived.
Don't have any weapons in the world.
And
So hold on. You're trying to paint this as like a bad thing. Caleb is doing production value. That's what it is. He's playing it up the same way that this dude is here sitting here talking about how he treated it like an acting gig and played up his character or did a caricature of himself. So is Caleb when it comes to like the video, the editing, the having a police cop, like a cop there. I don't even know if it was a real cop or not, but it's like, it's all about like the look. It's all about selling the image. That's literally what it is. It's difficult to me because at the end of the day, right? If you look at all the amazing actors in the world, top notch, let's talk about the 1% of the 1%. Like you talk about your Samuel L. Jacksons, right? Your Tom Cruises, your top of the top of the top. They don't get to dictate how the movie looks. That's not their, like, that's not their job. That's not what they do. The director, that's the person who dictates how the movie looks. And in this situation, Brent is the actor, Caleb is the director. That's how it goes. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that if it was pitched to him as a redemption, and then it just ended up becoming more of what the first video was, which was, an exploitation, if you want to say, sure, whatever, then that is a little messed up. The problem here is that he hasn't shown any evidence that it was that it was being framed as a redemption.
I get sat down, and Noah gives me paperwork about this thick with cameras around me, cameramen around me, filming me going through. I was like, this is duress. I actually addressed the cameras.
What?
This is not in the episode. I addressed the cameras. This is duress, and I don't have any time to read this, so none of this is binding.
Yeah.
as I said.
Whoa, what? Duress? Did they have a gun to your head? Did they tell you, you can't leave until you sign these papers? That's duress. Just because they had cameras set up ready to go, that's not duress, dude. Oh my, this dude, you're a fucking loser. I'm sorry. Scott managed to find somebody as much of a Mormon boy as he is. That is insane. That's not duress. Duress is a threat of something happening to you. That is under duress, signing under duress. You could easily have just said, hey, I want to read this before I start. And if Caleb turned around and said, no, I need you to sign it right now, you could have just been like, well, I'm not doing anything until I read this, and then leave. The problem here is that you needed the money. You needed the money, and you needed people to like you. You needed so much to supposedly, quote unquote, correct the record, that all of that flew out the window. These are your own choices. These are the choices you made and have to live with. You could have taken the time. You could have stood on 10 toes. You could have stood on your morals and said, nah, I'm good. If I can't read this, then I'm not signing it. But you didn't.
Sign it and hand it to them. And because there's a whole production crew waiting in there, right? And,
fuck the production crew.
when
Seriously, if that was me, I'd hold up 2 middle fingers to the production crew and say, go fuck yourself. I'm reading this.
hit the podcast room, and Caleb's like, Mr. Brent, you know why we're at a secret location? I'm like, no. I can't believe it. He said, because we received many death threats from you. No. I relayed that I was receiving death threats from your fans. That is actually what I was relaying.
So if you never threaten him, and he's saying on camera too, I think that video got over 1 million views, that you threatened to kill him, or you threatened death threats, that's slander.
It's libel. Yeah. I mean, libel is any fixed medium. This seems to be a area of misunderstanding among Caleb's audience. Libel in the modern new media age is any fixed medium, such as a podcast, such as
Do you still have the emails or text or whatever of them saying, hey, we want you back for the second episode?
I don't believe so, but I
oh my God, dude, there's no freaking way. There's no freaking way this dude is trying to build a lawsuit on Trust Me, Bro. There is no fucking way this dude is trying to build a lawsuit on Trust Me, Bro. How is it gonna look, you going to a lawyer and saying, hey, this guy like libeled me, this guy, you know, defamed me, and I don't have any evidence to the contrary, but would you mind taking on my case and going to court with me? Are you, how are you gonna prove anything then? How are you gonna prove anything that what you're saying is true?
Oh, it does. I went through a bit of a mental breakdown and just deleted everything that I have.
Are you having one right now? Because that's like literally the only explanation as to why you would be so dumb as to come on here and say all of this with zero evidence to back you up.
I'll reach
So
out
I
to
don't
him.
have that. Yeah.
So I'm curious. I watched part of the second episode, and partway through, Caleb gives you a shirt with your face on it. It's a character that he started selling. So you're aware that he's still selling a shirt and a mug with your character on it. You're aware of that?
I am aware of that, and I'm also aware that my likeness is being used singing the theme song to his live stream.
There ain't no hiding, and I'm dancing on the horizon. I can't wait no more.
Wow. Are you aware that he claims if you go to the website, he claims that 25% of all the profit from those sales go to you?
Wow. That
25, it says description, 25% of Caleb's profits of this shirt go to Brent. The t-shirt is everything you've dreamed of and more, etc., etc. This product is made especially for you, da 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 da. Okay.
incredible, because I told him I don't like the design.
It says right in the description that 25% of all profit from the
That's
t-shirt and the
amazing.
sales goes to Brent. You haven't received any of that?
No, not any accounting. Apparently, he doesn't do his own accounting.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, there's two things here. One, if that's true and he is making a profit off of it, even if he put that text in there jokingly, there is still a legal issue there. He would legitimately have to give that money to this guy, to Brent, regardless if he dislikes him or not. You can't just put it out there and it is essentially like legally binding at that point. Like it would be something like, it's not legally binding. What is it? It would be false advertisement, basically, because then you have the argument that people are buying it in an effort to support this guy. Now, the other thing is that there is this thing called at cost, which means that they are selling the product at cost. For instance, let's say you are selling a pen for $1, but it also costs $1 to make that pen. You are selling the pen at cost, which means you're making no profit whatsoever, which means there's no profit to actually give away. So I don't know how that would intertwine here, because essentially you would still be having to give 25% of that dollar to this person. Either way, if it is, I think that he would have a much better case to sue for that than for fucking defamation.
I mean, that's a big, like, if you have evidence that you haven't received that money, like that right there, I'm not a lawyer, but I feel like that's a pretty open and shut case. He's claiming to his entire audience, hey, we're giving 25% of all the profit to Brent, and you get nothing.
Wow. No, I have not received that.
You weren't aware of that. You go to the website, it says that right in
the.
the description of both items.
I told him I don't like the design and don't use it. I didn't approve the design.
Wow, that's a really big deal. I'm surprised that.
Again, 25% profits of this mug goes strictly. Yeah, okay. I'm 100% willing to go ahead and this is a knock on Caleb. If this is true, then yeah, he should be giving him 25%. Even if that means that he is making and selling these at a net negative, it's right there. If that's the case, then that's the case. Because again, I'm not entirely sure what an at cost sale would look like under, a 25% of profit being given away. If it's for $1, he still has to give 25% of that dollar, even if he's selling these things at cost, as far as my understanding goes.
If that's true that he's not giving you any money when he claims that is, that's a big, it's not something he should be doing.
It doesn't surprise me, having worked with him for 3 years.
All right. Well, let's go ahead to the third time you decided to go on the show. This time, did they ask you back again, or did you want to get on? And one thing they said in the video is that you had been stalking their new producer, Lindsay, trying to get on the show. Is that true?
That is absolutely not true. Um, this is interesting. I checked myself into a mental health care and rehab,
Oh God,
partial
no.
hospitalization rehab in July. And when I got out, I got a email from Lindsay, the new casting director, and she said, "Hey, I was wondering if you'd be interested in coming back on." Um, so over the next 2 weeks, I was just fresh out of rehab, and I'm feeling great. And my OCD is perfectly treated, and meds are titrated. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. Maybe I can do it. And she's actually a delight. Like I was hesitant at first, but she is very good to talk with in pre-production. We're working out bits to play, right? The fart machine bit, the fine asshole audit bit.
Hey Brent, it's a pleasure to meet you. I joined the Hammer Media team just after your last filming. I know you're a busy man, so I'll get to the point. Are you interested in coming back on? Financial audit with Caleb Hammer, casting name, best Lindsay, senior casting producer. Brent sent this email showing Lindsay reaching out to him. This goes against Caleb's stalking claim. She sent dozens of emails to Brent and doesn't appear afraid of him at all. Okay, so there's two things here. First and foremost, this seems like it's her first reaching out to him. She sent dozens of emails to Brent. Well, we haven't seen that. We've only seen the one email, so it's entirely possible that that is true and that isn't true. But it doesn't entirely go against Caleb's stalking claim because for two reasons. One, they could have had a set of exchange via email and then that exchange stopped and he continued to try and get in contact with her, which could potentially lead to a case of stalking. So that's also possible. Simply because they shared some emails back and forth doesn't mean that this dude wasn't stalking her. Also, they could have been sharing emails back and forth and this dude was like following her around without her noticing. Like just because they shared emails doesn't mean anything. I will say and give benefit of the doubt that it looks like they were having a conversation at the very least. But as far as I can see, I mean, I haven't seen fucking Caleb's, version of events, so who knows?
Like I've got some good material here that I'm bringing to the table, and I'm trying to work with the new casting director who's ensuring me that the show has changed. She chose me this episode of
Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. And I audibly giggled at the gift. How's your day looking today for a quick check-in? I am pretty open after 2 p.m. if you have the time to connect. So, okay, so it does seem like she's attempting to try and get like in contact with him, which again, I'll give it to him. As of right now, I haven't seen anything that would lead to him being a stalking person, but I'm also only seeing this from Scott's side. And Scott's obviously only going to go ahead and share like what's going to be good for him. Well, primarily what's going to be good for him. Might have to go and check out Caleb's responses to all of these.
Avery, who is another improv comic. He's another actor and another paid performer on the show. And she said, your episode will be like this. It's very lighthearted. And I was like, okay, this is great. The show has changed. Now I finally get my redemptive arc, right? I thought that they'd matured. She's an old pro. She's worked in LA. I thought, okay, they've elevated the show a little bit. And I agreed to it. And I was a little bit nervous going in because, I never know what Caleb's going to do. And I'm always afraid that they're going to spring something.
Wait. So you just got out of a mental hospital or a mental hold and you're going back on for the third time? Is that what I'm getting here? What? Okay. Okay.
Just from that reality television angle. And this time, what they did once more was frame me as a violent criminal and stalker. He framed me as wanting to kill the governor. When I have already won this case, by the way. This case I've won civilly and in criminal court. That was a metaphor. And so he's coming back to me saying, you wanted to kill the governor. I said, it's a metaphor. It's like arguing with a brick wall, and he keeps repeating it. And I tell him, that's libel. And he says, sue me. And I said I might. And so now I am.
Yeah.
Okay. If he actually won this in civil court, then there would be a record of it. However, how in the hell did you win this in criminal court? How would you win? Wait, how would that even make sense? You got accused by Caleb of wanting to murder a governor. because of something you said about the governor, how exactly did you win that case in criminal court? That doesn't make any sense. And what the fuck did you say about the governor that landed you in court or potentially landed you in court in the first place?
Okay.
And when that episode dropped, they libeled me once more, saying that I'm stalking Lindsay, the casting director.
Yeah, they said that in the description.
In the description, and on the very same day they dropped that onto YouTube, Lindsay sent me a generous, professional thank you email praising me, how good it was to work with me, said I'm lightning in a bottle.
Were you paid for that episode as well?
I was paid for that episode as well, $5,000 for that one.
5,000. And did you go to their actual filming studio, or is that someplace else?
No, that was another filming studio. And Caleb had security. Magnetic wanted me. They kept making jokes like, "Oh, are you going to pull a Joker situation?" And I was like, "Man, I would really appreciate it if you stopped going with that angle, because I didn't agree to it. I don't like that characterization. I didn't agree to that." I told them this pre-production, just right before we shot that day. Of course, they didn't do anything about it because that was their angle the whole time.
Okay. And one thing I want to ask, Caleb claims like they provide a lot of help post-show to help people get out of debt. What kind of help did they provide for you?
None.
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 Not
Okay. I'm going to stop you right there. Just because he helps some people, if that is the case, doesn't mean he needs to help every single person. Some people are beyond help. Now, if he is claiming that he did help Brent and didn't, then yeah, that's fucked up. That's an issue, bad on his part. However, the smugness in which Scott right here is smiling at the fact that this dude said he didn't receive any help is just leading to an immense amount of me not wanting to give a shit about this dude not getting any help. Like, look at this. Look at this. This is his serious face. And as soon as he says no, he just immediately has the smuggest fucking smile on his face.
Debt. What kind of help did they provide for you?
none.
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 Not even.
Look at it, dude. Like, come on. Could you be any more freaking obvious with your level of pettiness in this coverage? You're complete and utter bias here, man. Holy shit. You know, I've watched all three of the videos, and this is obviously the fourth one. I might have to start like look into what Caleb is saying about all of this too, because I imagine he's got, you know, his own evidence, his own proof and everything, and I think that would be interesting to see.
Even correcting the record that I am a working man. I may have several jobs as a freelancer. I'm a freelance writer. I'm a musician. I may be playing the old folks' homes, but I am a working musician. And yeah, I have got a lot of work going. I'm always busy.
So they didn't check up to see how much debt you paid off? They didn't provide you with any free courses or anything like that?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely
not.
fuck
All they
off.
did was use the Taquito line from the first episode as their slogan and named their studio after it.
All right. Well, let's go over the lawsuit. You did mention that in the third episode that you wanted to sue him. Is that
Correct.
still something you're going forward? Is it already starting? Have you found a
Absolutely.
lawyer? What's going on there?
Absolutely. I've been working with a contract lawyer. He's not really a litigator, but we've been building the case. The case is mostly built. The complaint is mostly written, but of course, I'll probably have to work with it when we find a litigator to take the case. I need a licensed attorney in Texas looking to take on a high profile.
So in other words, this dude just has paper. That's it. This dude has words on paper. You're not even suing him yet. What? Now I can understand why it is that freaking Scott changed the name of this video from Caleb Hammer is getting sued. Dude's not even actually getting sued. It's not even in the system yet. You haven't even got somebody who with the credentials to freaking validate this fucking complaint of yours. You have words on a piece of paper. Fantastic. I could go do the same thing.
Defamation case against the number 7 YouTube star in the United States of America for 4 counts of defamation with malice and civil conspiracy. The agreement that I signed on this last episode is substantially unconscionable in its terms, piercing it. And it is what's more...
This dude seems like such a fucking loser.
Have you had the lawyer look over the agreement you signed?
Yes, correct.
And is that what he said?
That is correct. That is what he said, and that's how we're going to pierce it.
Yeah, after I did my first video on
Yeah, I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not gonna take the word of a lawyer who doesn't even have the ability to turn my complaint into an actionable lawsuit. Like, it's cool to get some, possible information here, but the lawyer you're talking to doesn't even have the ability to turn your complaint into an actionable source. So it kind of, I'm gonna be honest. Fuck what he says. If he doesn't have the ability to take this to court himself, it doesn't really matter what he thinks.
Caleb about a year and a half ago. I actually had, I think, 2 or 3 different women reached out to me very upset with how they had been presented on the show as well, and they also wanted to sue him. And unfortunately, they didn't follow.
Hi, Shaffer. I was on Caleb's show and I'm getting harassed nonstop by his minions. Did something happen while on the show? Just the typical put downs and shaming me, but I'm going to hire a lawyer for defamation because I'm constantly harassed and I'm a public figure. Okay, well, if you're a public figure, it's going to be even harder for you to be able to prove defamation. I was reached out by him through backstage and got paid. He told me to act a certain way, and his stupid ass minions are just eating it all up with no questions asked. Yes, because you got paid to act a certain way. This is their only interaction and experience with you. They're going to believe that's who you are. If you didn't want them to think that you are this terrible person or whatever the fuck you were paid to act as, don't act like that. Don't accept the role. I don't get. This is mind-boggling to me. How is it that you're getting upset over the fact that people are treating you in accordance with the fucking role you played? Like, if I decide, look, if I was to go on to Caleb Hammer and he was like, hey, I want you to act like a complete and utter bum and be a complete and utter bum for this show, and I did, I don't really have the right to go ahead and get upset with people who call me a bum, say I'm a bum, because that is the freaking that is the person that I presented to them. That's what they're going to believe because they haven't seen me outside of that. Like, are you okay?
Through because most of the people that appear on Caleb's show don't have a lot of money. So that's the reason I feel like he hasn't actually been sued many times over, is because the people, they feel terrible, a lot of them, how they were presented on the show. They just can't afford to sue him because how expensive it is.
Right. And defamation cases are not usually taken on contingency. I am trying to find that one lawyer who has that righteous cause kind of attitude, willing to make a splash with a
You're looking for a fucking unicorn, bro. Good luck. I don't ever see this going anywhere. Hey, what's up, Brady?
high-profile case to take it on contingency. It's not.
You're asking a fucking lawyer to take on a potentially hundreds of thousands of $100,000 plus fucking lawsuit on contingency. For those of you who don't know what that means, essentially what it is, hey, I want you to do all of this work that typically costs tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, on a promise to pay you when I can deal. That's what it is if you're like breaking it down on a layman's term, okay? Jesus Christ, he wants a layaway lawyer, basically.
Not as cut and dry, and it's not as sure a bet.
Common sense isn't so common. That's right, Billy.
It's a little bit more complicated. It might be a little bit more lengthy, but I'm also guessing that he's going to settle.
I doubt
it's so
it.
Damning when he gets that complaint in front of him.
This guy is delusional. This guy is incredibly fucking delusional. Caleb Hammer has the ability to exhaust your lawyer into the fucking dirt, especially if he's going on contingency. Yes, like pro bono. Only pro bono is completely free. But there's no freaking way. No lawyer is going to want to do hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of work on a promise to pay basis, okay? Because eventually those clients that he has that is making him money and is paying him or her money, they're going to be looking better at like all of this, right? They're going to be looking like a better client to keep and a better client to go with. And a lawyer has the ability to drop you at any fucking point in time they desire. And if your lawyer who takes you on contingency decides to drop your ass, well, guess what? Now that lawyer can come after you for all the fucking money you owe them.
I bet you his lawyers will tell him Oh.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not a lawyer, but definitely the part you should have your lawyer look over the part with their website claiming to be giving you 25% for those products when you say you've never received any of that. He definitely needs to take a look at.
Yes, that's literally the only freaking thing. That's literally the only thing this dude has here right now is the fact that Caleb is saying 25% of proceeds from the stupid mug and the t-shirt is going to this guy. He should be focusing on that. Fuck the defamation shit. Go for that. Get your bones on that. And then when you get your fucking payout from that, if you get your payout from that, then go for your defamation. Not because not because I think you have a fucking case, but at least then you'll have money to burn without a guaranteed win. Absolutely not. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no, this dude's a joke. This dude's an absolute fucking joke. I didn't think it was possible for Scott Shaffer to find somebody as dumb as he is.
Look at that.
Yes.
So I'm just curious your final thoughts on Caleb when he wasn't filming. Was he nice to you, and anything else you want to say?
Not really. He's never been very nice.
No.
I don't think he's got the best social skills, to be honest with you. I think that his job that he scoped out for himself suits him because he wouldn't be the kind of guy that I run into out and about and just feel like, oh, that guy was cool.
Yeah.
He was rude when I first met him.
Oh, boo fucking
we shot the
who.
first episode. And he never actually listened to me as I'm telling him that this is defamatory. I do work. I told you in that episode that I will take Uber Eats. And at the time, I was also working. I wasn't getting a lot of work, but I did have income. So
He should not be giving this cloud goblin a platform. Well, here's the thing. Scott is so up his own ass about his petty fucking vendetta against Caleb that he'll take anybody and everybody who has something negative to say about Caleb, as obvious as this dude who has absolutely no fucking evidence to present for his case. Like zero. If anything, Scott actually gave him evidence for a legitimate case when it came to the 25% proceedings thing, and this dude didn't even know about it. It's just, you know, and I can't even hate on him too much for not knowing about it because it's like, what is he going to do? Check fucking Caleb's store every single day to see if something pops up? It's almost over.
I really feel like he is predatory in his approach to his guests. And I would advise anybody against going on the show.
Yeah. So you don't think you're going to go back for a fourth time then?
No, the next time I see him, if I do, will be in a court of law.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we'll see about
any
that.
final things you want to say? Do you need, I don't know, are you looking for more help with your case or anything you want to say?
Yes, absolutely. If you're a licensed attorney in Texas, litigator, willing to take action on this claim, help me develop it, finalize
Absolutely,
it,
Billy.
file it, and represent me, I would be.
This dude's looking for a freaking unicorn lawyer on YouTube. This is asinine to the 10th degree. What does the fucking comments say? Oh, this guy deleted all the proof he claims he had. So convenient. Exactly. Thank you. Right. Additionally, claims he was defamed the first time on the show, then agrees to go on again and again, year after year. For real. So this guy answers a Facebook ad for a $50 gig and somehow has agreements to okay the video before it puts out. There's not really anything I need that I deleted. I deleted my digital life, trying to escape, blah, blah, blah. I refused to work. 2, I threatened to kill the governor. 3, I sent him death threats. And 4, I'm stalking Lindsay, a criminal accusation. And they can't wait. Hold on. If Hammer Media claims the truth as a defense, they must prove 1. Wait, this is him? This is actually him? Hold on. We're going on a little trip here. Hold on. This is actually the dude. Does he reading the Alamo would be better TV than Financial Audit? Oh my gosh, no. He's doing clips. The Depth with Brent Davey, guest McAvoy. Attention, Caleb Hammer lawsuit or boxing, pick a venue. Okay, so this was the stupid boxing thing. This guy went to Austin DA Jose blah 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 the White House to call him the hard R. Da, 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 da. Okay. I'm going to come back to this. This was a month ago. I'm going to come back to this. I want to check the comments first. I can't believe though that this dude literally got in the comment section on this video. If Hammer Media claims the truth as a defense, they must prove 1, that I refuse to work. Okay, but that was in the people have the ability to be able to say something of that nature and it not legitimately be defamation. But yeah, you know what? Sure, I threatened to kill the governor. Okay, but did you or did you not? That's my question. They never actually went over that. Maybe I sent him death threats. This one's a little different. This one's a little bit more difficult because a lot of the times it would fall under like a reasonable what's the terminology for it? A reasonable perception of harm or something of that nature. Like what would a reasonable person perceive to be a death threat? And for I'm stalking Lindsay, a criminal accusation. Now this one here, this one's a little easier for him to be able to get out of. And all it would take is the fact that Lindsay telling Caleb that she believes that he's stalking her. Because if that's the case, then Caleb can't really be hit with libel or defamation because he's going off of what Lindsay told him, and he has no reason to disagree or disbelieve what Lindsay said. Now, again, don't know the entirety of all of that, right? Scott is going to say the comments are full of Caleb fans, but for real, this interview is a mess. Not saying he's an angel, just the whole anti-Caleb thing feels like a weird vendetta. Yes! That's what I've been saying. It just feels like a petty vendetta. I've been saying this for 4 fucking videos now. Scott Shaffer hated Caleb for some fucking reason outside of all of this. And when all of this starts to reemerge, he took it as his like, I don't know, he took the mantle and decided to go after it. I just don't know, man. It just doesn't feel that way. I think that's part of it, Caleb fans, but it feels like I'm missing a whole part of what seems to be a really bad case of internet drama. Yes, like was there beef between these two that I just am unaware of? It feels like there's some missing context in history, which after doing some Googling that Brent has struggled with OCD and alcoholism. Okay, I was talking about Scott Shaffer and fucking Caleb. As someone who was diagnosed with ACD, I can't personally understand the struggles at the time, but I don't know, civil case, blah, blah, blah. To be fair, this guy is a narcissistic man-child. Okay, hold on. Where did that comment go? Here we go. Okay. Caleb Hammer lawsuit or boxing, pick a venue to settle the dispute. I want to check this out.
Hello, people of the internet, and specifically Hammer Media Corporation, LLC, Limited. I don't know what it is, but it's a business. So here's the deal. Caleb and I have a feud. There are 2 roots to this feud. One is that I just don't like him that much. The other is that he has been consistently defaming me since the very first episode. We can get into the specific claims and complaint later. At this point, let's just decide on a venue to settle the dispute. As far as I see it, we have 3 pretty good options. And I'm undecided on them. So let's get Hammer Media's in.
You talk way too slow. This is 1.25. There's no way. You talk way too slow.
But let's get the audience's input. What do they want to see? First option, a good old-fashioned boxing match. Given that Caleb and I are in tip-top physical condition and that we are fighting war machines, I think this would be awesome. I might be wrong. But we could put it in a pay-per-view kind of format on the YouTubes. See if people watch. Half of our proceeds can go to a charity.
Yeah, he's definitely milking all of this.
And $1 goes to the loser because we don't want anybody to not get paid. I think this is a great idea. If you're down, I'm down. Second option is the court of reality television law. And there are many court TV shows out there. You got Mathis, you got Steve Harvey.
Wait. You want this settled on court TV? You want this to be settled on a televised courtroom? In a televised courtroom, I should say? You, sir, are a complete fucking clout goblin. An absolute clout demon. There's no fucking way. This might be parody. This might be like, no, there's no fucking way, dude. There's absolutely no freaking way you're saying all of this. Now, this was a month ago. So I don't Scott's video just came out like this last week or something. But if he was thinking about this a month ago, there's no way, dude. This dude's like, yeah, Caleb, see me on Judge Judy. Catch me on Judge Judy. How about that? There's no fucking way, dude. I don't even have to watch the rest of your video. Go fuck yourself. Oh, commenting so I can see how far this goes. Brent said pistols at dawn and brought up a taquito instead of a gun. What about hugging and kissing it out? Very confused. He cried because he can't work because he can't stand, but is pitching a boxing match. Oh, that's interesting. What's so confusing? It's chronic deep tissue pressure, ulcer. I can stand on it most of the time. The limitation is duration. I swear you guys are willfully ignorant. Dude, you are a fucking moron. If you have a deep pressure ulcer, you are not in top physical shape. I was going to let that go. Because it seemed incredibly parody and incredibly like just for the shit and jive and joke and all that shit. But you sitting here saying that this person is willfully freaking ignorant, there's no way. Dude, oh, whatever. Brent, if the match is under 30 minutes, there should be no issue, correct? Oh, my dude, you were made for this. Put that with that lawyer education to work. The fact that you want to turn this into a pay-per-view boxing match or Judge Judy episode shows that you're just a clout chaser. Yes. There's no way you're actually dumb enough to believe you'll win a defamation suit against someone who you signed a legally binding document with, giving up your right to sue them for defamation. Also true. If there are a lot of the time when it comes to NDAs or any sort of legal agreement, you have to sign away your rights to suing the person. It's the same thing for like going to like Disneyland or like certain areas, right? You have to sign away your rights for that if you get harmed on, you know, or petting zoos. Like there's so many different places, but yes, absolutely. While Caleb might be a dick, was anything he said untrue? And even if Caleb was purposely spreading untrue rumors with malicious intent, which you don't actually believe it, again, you gave up your right to sue him for defamation when you signed that agreement. Make better financial. Okay, that's only if that was covered in the agreement. So I thought his name was Brent. Oh man, this is actually good. Oh man, okay, that was fun, man. I was getting bored as hell watching that video and going over this, but this has been pretty interesting. What's his third option? Let me just skip to his third option.
We can see what wins. And these are pretty good options. I'm down for any of them. To me, and I said I might, and he's like, "Do it." I was like, "Okay." Well, you know, I wasn't really thinking.
Okay, third option, or we just go to a courtroom. My buddy and Jesus McChristy, there is a fourth option you're not considering, and it's that Caleb just doesn't pay any attention to you until you can actually sue him. And it seems like that's probably the way it's gonna go. My God, this dude is a loser. Scott Shaffer is a loser. I just, when losers meet, let's just go ahead and give that a nice little dislike right there. Oh, God. Insane.